Hey friends, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. Hi friends, and today we're going to talk about the 30 plus books I'm most looking forward to in the fall of 2026 or September, October, and November. Yes, this is an anticipated releases video. I am so excited about it. And as a little fun thing to go with fall releases, I got my Alani Witch's Brew. Target got it in the other day and I was able to scoop it up. It's my favorite flavor. It really is. I love Alani. I have it all year round, but there's just something about the caramel apple flavor that's my favorite. It just is. I know I'm not the only one. I don't get as vicious with the hunt for it as some people do, but it is my favorite one. It really is. And by the way, I know on my last video, some of you were so sweet about the eyebrow look I had going on that I was feeling self-conscious about it. Feeling better about it today. I think I'm zoning in on the new gel, the eyebrow gel that I bought, and I think it's looking good. But anyway, we won't waste any time because I'm very excited to talk about these 30 books that I have coming up. Now, I actually have two nonfiction books mixed in here to talk about. One of them, maybe you can guess if you know a bit of the psychosis I've been under over the past, 9 months at this point. You maybe know one of them. But yeah, it's pretty exciting. So let's go ahead and dive in. Some of these, I'm just going to describe some of them. I might even talk a bit about the blurbs a little bit here, but we're just going to dive right in. So one other note I didn't talk about this, I think the last time I did an anticipated release. And it's really the most important reason why I do this video. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that pre-ordering books, especially for indie authors, can be so important for them. And if you pre-order, particularly on Amazon, if Amazon is the main platform that you use, you don't actually get charged until the books come out. But yet pre-orders can just really help boost an author. It can help boost them in the algorithm. It can help them be looking really good on release day. And especially someone who works for an indie author, I just know how important those pre-orders are. So I will have links to all of the books that have one available for them. I will have it linked down below. And if you are worried about, forgetting when a book is coming out, because I know I have done that before, especially some of these days, which I'm probably not going to list the day that every single book comes out. I'll just say kind of the month that books are coming out. I put it right in my calendar so that I get a reminder the day before the book is going to come out, just so that I know that there's going to be a charge coming out, depending on whether you pre-ordered the ebook or the paperback, just so that you're not surprised if you have 3 books you pre-ordered all coming out at the same day. But it really is important for authors, and especially at a time when, we all know. And I totally get it if we can't do that with everything, but something that, I try to do is I try to pick at least 1 or 2, and particularly books that I'm not going to read an arc for, because again, I do a lot of arc reading. I do a lot of advanced listening copies. And so I'm not always buying copies of books. I usually, if I'm getting an arc, if I enjoy the book, I buy a physical copy at the end to support the author. But if I'm going to be getting an arc, I don't usually pre-order the book because I'm going to get an advanced copy. But if I like the book, then I do buy a copy of it. But maybe some of these I'm going to talk about, you're going to decide you want to go sign up for the ARC, and then you can do that thing as well. So anyway, enough preamble. Let's get into it. I'm very excited to talk about some of these that are coming up. So starting with September, I actually don't have too many. October's the one that I have a ton to talk about, but let's get into September here. And go through. So at the beginning of September, we will have The Daddy's Girl by Sarah Kate. And this one will be book 3 in the Salacious Legacy series. I do actually already have the arc of this one. I think there's 3 or 4 books we'll be talking about that actually have an arc of them already. So I actually already put The Daddy's Girl on my TBR for August because this one comes out September 1st. So I probably will read it in August. But from what I remember about the tropes for this one is going to be a, I think like, is it a guardian or is it a goddaughter one? I know it's a forbidden age gap. It's a pretty big age gap one. So yeah, and I'm sure it will be kinky. It'll be another one set in Paris because that's where the Salacious Legacy series is set. Okay, then one book that I shouldn't say that because I'll end up saying it 50 times today. So I'm going to try not to say it too many times, but a book I'm very excited to read is Peaks and Promises by Claire Kingsley, because this one will be book 6 in the Haven Brothers and will finish up that series. So this one is a small town romance, but it will be a suspense romance. And this one will be about Reese Haven, who, if you have been reading along with this series, you'll know that he's the brother that we don't know really anything about. We have only gotten a few hints that he calls home pretty sporadically. We really know nothing about him. A few of his brothers, from their POVs, we've had resentment towards him or ambivalence towards him. We know that it's made his mother very sad that he doesn't talk to her. So that's really what we know. And based on a bit of the blurb, like I said, I won't read the blurbs for all of these books I'm going to talk about today, or we'll be here for a really long time. But he is this big, tattooed, quiet guy. He keeps to himself. And we're going to meet Summer Lewis, who is an overworked single mom who's struggling to make ends meet. And she has an ex who is a member of a notorious motorcycle club. And it sounds like he might take her to his hometown to protect her. And that is gonna, I can foresee, again, this isn't totally set in it, but I can foresee him, leaning into his family because of wanting to protect her. Like that will be the thing that pushes him home. He has a brother who works in police. He has, all these brothers who he knows that even though he has kind of pushed them afar, they would welcome in a woman and her child. So I can see how that would make it happen. So anyway, I'm stumbling over my words today. I'm sorry. I'm very excited for this book. I just love Claire Kingsley stories, and I really love how she does the suspense element in hers. And also, I haven't heard much about what her next series is going to be. There hasn't been too much of a tease for that yet. But yeah, I just really love her books, and Reese has really been a tease for us the whole time. So looking forward to that one. Okay, then there will be What About Us by Kristen Proby. This will be the next one in Silver Springs. Now, I still haven't read the first one in this series. You're going to hear that. I was taking a bit of a pause from Kristen Proby and her other title, Natalie Kane, because I had just read so many of hers back to back, and I was kind of taking a little bit of a pause because a lot of her books, I've shared this, I've just kind of cracked the code on her, kind of her playbook, and that's not a bad thing. It's not to denigrate her or say anything badly about how she writes her stories. They bring me a lot of joy. It just means that once you kind of crack the code and you see behind the curtain, it can make them feel too predictable. So I have taken a little bit of a pause, but I know that I'll be drawn back into her stories eventually, because sometimes when not sometimes, often what pulls me back to an author is that reliability and knowing that I'll get those squishy, warm feelings at exactly the time I want to get them. I think people misunderstand so often that the predictability and comfort of romance is what we want from it. So I know I'll be drawn back to her books eventually. So I still want to keep talking about them, and I will keep sharing about her books, even though I'm taking a bit of a break. They also come out so frequently that it's like if I take a pause for a couple months, I'm already like 4 books behind or something. So I don't ever want people to think I don't want it. But just reading what the tropes are with this one, it says it's a hockey romance and it's friends to lovers. So this one is book 2 in Silver Springs. And let me just look at what... Oh, she hasn't even put the blurb in for it yet. And it's coming in only a month. So I'm sure that stuff will get shared soon. So yeah, that one's coming. Then there will be the next book, In Boston Forever by Jay Shaman, which is Forever Offsides. I mean, you guys know I'm a huge fan of this author too. Her books are a big staple for me. This one, the tropes for this one are... Ooh, my ex-boyfriend's dad. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, I just got so excited. And he's also the new coach of my brother's professional football team. So excited. And I think she's a nurse. I've seen the graphics for this one shared. So yeah. It's his first shot at being a head coach. So he's working on repairing things with his son. And she's a resident. Okay. So she's a resident orthopedic surgeon for the team. And it's her brother's coach. So she had a hot night with him. And now he's her brother's coach. I mean, so Jay Shaman's really known. Both her and there's another author. I always joke that like they always start their books with a one-night stand. Like all of them start with a one-night stand pretty much. And then they find out that they work together or there's someone forbidden. And like that's okay. That's what tropes are. That's how they start. But I love her books. So that's going to be fun. A golden retriever, NFL coach, black cat surgeon, secret relationship, banter and steam. Oh yeah, I'm so pumped for that one. I'll have an audiobook for that one because she always works through Must Love Audio. So excited for that one. Wow, I didn't know what the tropes were. I just put this author on my list because I love all of her stuff. So that is very exciting for me. Okay, then there is Wedding or Not by Noelle Adams, okay? And so this is my author that I work for, my indie author, and I actually just finished this book 2 days ago, and this is her first in a new series that's going to be called Blossom Park, and this is very anticipated for me in a couple of ways because so far under the Noelle Adams name, she has just kind of been re-releasing a few that she got the rights back to and was kind of recovering books, and that's been great. Her Claire Kent titles have obviously been the most popular ones. That's what most people know her for. But we're really hoping to get the Noelle Adams ones back in to the public eye and get people excited about them again. And so, yeah, I just finished, like I said, reading this. And also what will be exciting, I know as I take my little promo moment for this, this is one that she actually got the audio done at the same time. So this one's going to release with audio and ebook and paperback, like all those at the same time. And you actually can sign up for the ARC and the ALC right now on her Instagram. So I will link her Instagram in my bio, in my description if I can remember. And you can sign up for an ALC of this if you'd like to. This is going to be the first time we're doing that because the Noelle Adams audiobooks, she actually owns those, whereas the Claire Kent ones are run through Podium. And so we can't do ALCs of those because she doesn't own those or anything. So that's up to Podium, and Podium hasn't listed hers as available for ARCs or anything like that. I wish they would. I wish they would very much, but they haven't. And it's actually being done by Carly Robin, aka CJ Bloom is her alternate. So that's who's doing the audio for this one. So anywho, this is the first 3 in the series are Marriage of Convenient, and this Blossom Park is actually a like wedding venue and stuff like that. So it was really cute, and I think this will be really fun. And again, I, as someone who worked for her, I know I'm biased, I always say that, but her Noelle Adams books, if you love the Claire Kent, the way that, you know, the sex and the steam in those is so practical or transactional or just like like to the point because it's a survival situation. I think you'll be really surprised if you ever try her Noelle Adams titles that, sure, they might not be in survival situations, but they're often still very practical about like sex and emotions and things like that. That's still how she writes in those as well. And her backlist for Noelle Adams is far, far more extensive than her Claire Kent ones. So, you know, if you've read all the Claire Kents and you're looking for more, you really can start with some Noelle Adams. So, anywho, that one will be releasing on September 18th in KU. I also should have said this, but it will release on her website on September 4th and have the audiobook available directly from her, and all of those things. So, there's my little promo for her. And okay. Then there's one I'm very intrigued by called Kiss of the Black Flame by Helen Scherer. Sorry, I always have to like blah, 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 say it like that. This is the first in a new series from her, and I believe it's a fresh new series, I think. I haven't received an ARC of this one yet. I kind of want to get the audio for this one because I really enjoy the audiobooks for Helen's. So I'm okay if I don't get an ARC of this. I'll probably buy the audiobook. But this one says it's about Sage Grayson. And it says some bargains are sealed with blood, others with fire. The deadliest are sealed with a kiss. And it says she's a bookbinder in the capital. She's learned to work through chronic pain and crushing debt. Oh my gosh. Wow. Just felt called out right there. Woo! Restoring other people's treasures while trying not to fall apart herself. But then the man she owes decides her rare talent is worth more than her payments. Sage is traded to the Azkari, an immortal race forged by the gods of war and imprisoned in their ancient stronghold. Her only chance of survival lies with Archer, a fallen Azkari general imprisoned beside her. Cursed, dangerous, and impossible to ignore, he offers her a way out, and in return, Sage must help him retrieve and restore an ancient book, but the book is made of living magic, powerful enough to stop a great evil, to unleash it, and as Sage works with Archer, the tome begins to awaken something dark and dangerous, both in the realm and within herself. As their enemies close in, and buried memories resurface, Sage and Archer must decide what they're willing to sacrifice, their freedom, their fragile trust, or the spark that they ignite in the world. So that one I just read the blurb because I don't know how to break that down any other way, but I love the stuff I'm hearing. I don't know what type of chronic pain she has. It just says through chronic pain, but crushing debt and chronic pain, I think a lot of us book girlies know what both of those things are. So, but yeah, I mean, it was going to be on my list no matter what because I've loved that author. So, okay, next up, we have the first of two of the nonfiction books I want to share. I don't always share about these ones, this type of book on here, but I'm so excited for this one. And I know a lot of you guys know that this is a passion for me. So I'm like, why not share it with you guys? Because maybe you'll want to pre-order it too. And why not? So on September 29th, Cross Stitch by the Sea is going to release. Okay. So the author of this, his name is Max Pigeon. And this is the same author of Cross Stitch in the Forest. And this is the same author who I actually have one right here. I should have grabbed it beforehand. But this is the same pattern creator who designed like these patterns of like so many of the cross stitches that I do. And honestly, he's the guy who really got me so excited about cross stitch again. I'd already been dabbling a little bit, but then one day I came across his book, Cross Stitch in the Forest. I think it'll have been 2 years between his book releases, so it was probably 2 years ago that I found it. And I've done, I think, 7 patterns from his book. Or no, I've done 5 patterns from his book, 4 patterns from his website. I own so many other patterns of his. And so far, the ones I've all done have been like ones in the forest. And I think I've done like one that's from the ocean, but he does all these different patterns that have to do with nature. They're just beautiful. He's from Canada, and a lot of them have been in just nature. They're all set in nature in different places. He has ones that are regional, for different, like, I'm so bad with words today, you guys. I'm sorry. The brain fog is making me struggle, but different zones of the earth. What are they called? Like regional spheres. So there's like the Great Plains, there's the like rainforest, there's the Arctic. Like he has all these different areas. But yeah, his first book was Cross Stitch, in the Forest, and I just love it so much. And his next book, Cross Stitch by the Sea, is coming out on September 29th. And you can either get a physical copy, which I have pre-ordered a physical copy because the book is just so beautiful, but you can also get a Kindle copy, which is great because if you use the Kindle copy, then that's where you can like zoom in on it to see the pattern. And it can just be easier to then like, write over the top of it and stuff like that. Well, I don't know if you can put it onto a PDF or not. You probably can't do it that way. I haven't tried using a Kindle pattern book yet. I've only used PDFs that I've downloaded from his website and everything is how I have done them before when I've bought them that way. But either way, the physical book, I just use a pencil and write over the top and then I erase it at the end. But anyway, I'm spending too much time on this. The point being, I'm so excited for this book. He's already shared a few teases on his Instagram. I follow him there. And there's going to be like a dolphin that's in there. There's going to be, I think, what else has he shared? Like a squid. There's a killer whale. And I just can't wait to get it. I'm so excited to do some of the patterns in there. One of the reasons why I love him is how he uses colored Aida cloth as the negative space in patterns. Like he did in here, like this is designed to be on a dark blue. And so like the buck in here is, you don't actually use a color for that. And so it means that you aren't doing as many stitches as you would if this was colored, right? And he does that with a lot of things. Like one of my favorite pieces of his is actually on like a black background and it's a wolf baying at the moon. If I remember, I'll put that in. But anyway, I'm spending too much time on it. But if you love to cross stitch or you've been wanting to get into it too, I think he's really great because his pieces look so complex, but honestly, they're not, in my opinion, as much as they appear. Like truly, I've done pieces by other creators who I think they make their work more complicated than it needs to be. And a lot of them, he makes them look so beautiful and they fit onto really small hoops. So you can accomplish a project in just a week or two, or even in a weekend. Like one of his I did over Easter. I bought it off of his website that was Mr. Tom Thumb, and it was a bunny like watering his flowers, and I did it over the weekend while I was watching the like skating championships or whatever, and it was just so satisfying to be able to do a whole project in a weekend. So yeah, I just love him, and I want to share that he has a new pattern book releasing, and yeah, I just want to support crafter creators, especially because when I'm trying to buy patterns, like I just bought a pattern I'm working on a project for my sister for her birthday, and finding a pattern on Etsy that wasn't AI took me hours. I'm not even joking you. And I'm still not certain that the pattern I found wasn't done with AI. Like I have no idea, but I ended up finding one that I know they did a physical example of it, and it appears the pattern works out because I saw other people's reviews that they've made it and it didn't have any errors. But buying patterns from someone who I know makes all of his works before he puts it in a book and is selling the book is the only way I know how to make sure they're not all fake or computer generated. And it's not that you can't generate patterns on the computer, like that's how people will make them, but ones where people have never tested their patterns before they sell them to you is what I mean. Like ones where people design them and sell them without having made them first is what's really frustrating. And if you're a crafter, you know what I mean. You know what I mean, because it's like, it's one thing if you've designed tons of patterns and so you're kind of just making a pattern and then you've tested it many times, and so then you just adjust it, make another, but still, like, you just don't know how it's going to work out until you've made it. And he tests, like, it took him 9 months to create this book because he had to make all of the 25 patterns that are in it, and do them. So anywho, I spent way too much long on that, but that's one of my passions is cross stitch. As you guys know, I've done so many over the years now, and I just love his. So continuing on, now that I gushed about Max Pigeon, I love him. He's wonderful. Okay, then there is also The Hunter by Tiffany Roberts. And this will be the final book in the Vrick series, I guess. So maybe it's finally time to read this. I know I keep bringing this up. And I believe for my video I made a little while ago that was Help Me Choose a Book by the Cover, that the Weaver won my poll, my unofficial poll that I did by you guys. I'm actually going to put up an official poll for that, but I think the Weaver won that. So, and I was also able to get the audiobook. They do have the audiobook for the Weaver done. It actually got released just like a month ago, and I didn't see that it got shared. I had been waiting for it because I know it had got delayed like a while ago. I'd been looking for it and it got delayed, and it's finally out. So I really want to get, but it'll be great that the whole series is out because I'll be able to binge it, which will be nice. But yes, The Hunter will be out the end of September, and this one is about Talak and Lacey. So, and I do remember who Lacey is, so that's good. So Talak and Lacey will be coming. All right. Then we go into October, and October is the heavy hitter. There is a whole bunch set for October, and this is one of those months where I'm like, damn, the month is already packed, and I didn't even mean to like ask for anything else coming out that month because it's stacked. So let's go through what we have this month. There is Once Again Always by Amanda Gale. Now, this is one that is supposedly inspired by a Dramini, which now I just forgot what it was. Shoot. Oh, I just forgot what it was. It's the one with the green couch. It's the one with the green couch where Hermione forgets who she is. It's supposed to be an amnesia one. Let me see. It's a captivating romance of amnesia and falling for your rival twice. They've made it a blue couch instead of a green couch. Only Hope. That's what it is. Only Hope. And this one is coming October 6th. So it's a second chance romance following a young woman who wakes up in the hospital with no memory of the past 6 years, only to find that she apparently married the one man she can't stand, her arrogant and infuriating former boarding school rival. I'm actually really excited about this. I'm excited about it because this is a Dramini that I think already was changed a lot because it's more about the emotions to begin with than it was about the magic. And I think those are the ones that have the best chance of being good. I know there's been so many debates about these, and for the most part, I've ended up coming down on the side of like, I agree that it's kind of a lost cause for some of these that are getting trad pubbed. However, this is one of the ones where I think it can work because, again, what made that one powerful to me was the like scenario less than it like being Dramini, right? So I'm intrigued by it because it's like, it's a really cool case of amnesia for me. So yeah, I do have the arc of this one. I did get approved for the arc of this one. So I do want to try reading this one and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, I think this could be really good. But yeah, the reason why there's like a sofa is like, there's only one bed because they're in a small apartment. So he takes the sofa like a boring, sensible man, which is really cute. So yeah, I do want to try reading that. Okay. Then there is Savage Hearts by Willow Astor. And this is going to be Willow Astor getting a trad pub debut. From what I see, she is going to be with see if I find it. She's going to be with Montlake. Okay, so not fully like Trad Club. This is with Amazon. And this is going to be the first in the Harrington Ranch. So this is great. Love that she's going full cowboy. I don't think Willow Astor has done cowboy yet. So it's a cowboy and a single mom. With a single mom who's wrangling her tragic past into the hope for a future on a Wyoming ranch. So if it's not Montana, it's Wyoming. So there we go. I love her. So there's also this one, Veronica Roth also has one out that day. There's 2 huge days in October, by the way. Sorry, let me just say this. The 2 huge days in October are the 6th and the 27th. They're the ones that have, sweet goodness, everything coming out. So yeah. The 6th Faction by Veronica Roth. This is that one where it's literally like a AU of her own world. And I don't know how I feel yet about stories where authors are doing this, but in a way I kind of respect an author doing an AU of their own world more than like someone else doing it and calling it a fan fiction. So I'm interested to see how this is and how she's changing it. And it has been 20 years. So instead of extending the world out as, you know, and continuing on with, like, I don't know. I'm intrigued. I don't know that I'll read it, but I'm putting it on here so people know about it. But yeah, the 6th Faction is coming out on that October 6th day. So I don't know. We'll see. I might wait to see what some of my friends think who are more into it. Divergent isn't one of the series that I've continued to think about over the years the way some people have, or the way I have about the Hunger Games. Like, I've talked about this when I read Sunrise on the Reaping a couple weeks back now. That was a series that I never stopped thinking about the Hunger Games. I didn't like the snake and Songbird and the Snake or whatever. I didn't like that one. But the original Hunger Games trilogy is a series that I read 15 times. No joke. And I've never stopped thinking about it. And though I haven't, like, I only reread it once, maybe 5 years after, and it still affected me. And I was like, okay, this really does hold up for me. Like, Divergent isn't one that I felt that way about. I don't have the same nostalgia for it that I did with, like, Twilight or with, like, East or, like, with any of those that I connect with. So I also think I could be really intrigued about the 6th Faction to see where it. Then, also, another cowboy romance, or cowgirl romance, Never Been Tamed. It will be book 2 in the Heartstone Ranch series by Corinne Michaels. I actually just was a part of the trope reveal for this today. And this one's going to be a cowgirl and a city boy. And it's an age gap. It's a grumpy and grumpy. What else was in there? Grumpy and grumpy, age gap, cowgirl, city boy. There was something else in there. Fake dating was in there too. So, I mean, I really enjoyed West of Forever, and I enjoy Corinne Michaels, so I'm sure I'll enjoy this one too. There's not too much to say about these. Okay, then there is Stolen Crown by L.J. Andrews. All right, this is one that has been so hyped for me. Not like hyped by everyone else. In my own mind has been so hyped for so long that, but it's been so long that I've forgotten so much about the rest of them. Okay, this was a case of the first 3 books came out. The author got picked up, Trad Pub, and then we had to wait for those first 3 books to get re-released. So I barely remember anything about the other 3. I think it's been like 2 years since I read book 3. It was funny too because I read books 1 and 2 and then book 3. And I really loved the Ever King, the Ever Queen, and I can't remember what book 3 was called, but I enjoyed that one. I know that one was a marriage of convenience where like they were really like enemy, or it was like a forced marriage almost. And then A Stolen Crown is going to be another, The Mist Thief was book 3. And then this book 4 is going to be another like new couple. So this one is Tate Hartwalker, who's the cousin of the Ever King. Okay, I remember that part. And then Mira Sedukar, who's the princess of the Glamour Fae. So they've been trying to avoid each other, but then there's a storm that shipwrecks them beyond the boundaries of the Ever Kingdom, and they're forced to break through the thorny barriers and work together. So this is one that I do have the arc of this one. They put it up on NetGalley quite a while ago, so like I have it, but I haven't gotten into it yet. This is another series where I listened to all of them, and so I kind of want the audiobook. I've been hoping that the audio would get put up on there. But again, this is one where it's like, I feel like, okay, maybe this isn't a hot, I feel like this is a lukewarm take. I think sometimes getting picked up by TradPub actually stifles an author more than they think it does. I mean, obviously it doesn't, because I know they get paid good money. Okay, I don't know it, but I have a gut feeling they wouldn't do it if they weren't getting paid more than what they were making, or the potential to be paid more than what they're making on their own. But obviously they get paid good money for their rights and to do this. But like, I feel like often the author is riding the high of either the TikTok game or the momentum they have from influencers talking about them or where they're at. And then they get bought up, and then their books just have to wait until they get put out, right? I think that's happening like with Souls in Ruin. Like, I read Souls in Ruin finally, and now that book is only just going to be getting released TradPub, and then it's going to be another how long before the next one comes out. So I've already read it now, and I'm like, now just waiting. And how long before another one even comes out? Am I even going to care by then? Maybe not, because I was only so on the first one. And by the time the next one comes out, will I even give two shits about it anymore? I don't know. And this is another one where, like, to me, the momentum was building with this series, and then pause. They put out these other books by L.J. Andrews. We're finally getting back around to this series, and I don't remember anything. Like, I just read this, and like, I remember who the Ever King is. I know who that is. But I don't remember who these characters are. I don't have the time to reread the first 3 books in this series. So I don't even know if I'm going to continue. So anyway, that was a lukewarm take probably, that I'm like, I'm sure it was worth the money she was paid to do it, but is it worth it to the series to have been stifled like that? When is the publisher going to put enough money into pumping that back up by the time it comes out? Probably not, because we know that trad publishers don't necessarily do a better job promoting their book than the authors were doing on their own anyway. You know, that's why authors still need to have street teams that they run, or they have their assistants run for them. So, I mean, look at like Catherine Cowles still has a huge street team that her team runs, and she's with Bloom. And like, she would not be as big and popular as she is if she wasn't running what she is. Like, if there wasn't a chance to get the different colored arcs or the trope arcs that are sent by her team. So I don't know. Is it worth it for I mean, it probably is, because the distribution and the places your books end up, you could never do on your own. But anyway, whatever. Discussion for a different day. I'm getting so distracted in this video. It's going to end up being so long. Okay, then also that day, there is Victorious by V.E. Schwab. Now, this is also outside my romance realm. However, I have read the first 2 books in this series. They are really the only V.E. Schwab books that I've stayed up with. I love them. Actually, way back when I was still a good friend of Murphy, from Murphy Napier, I actually read those books with her. I actually have them annotated by her when I was a member of her Patreon, and she did annotated books. And I love those 2 books. And so Victorious, she's going back to that series. And so book 3 of that is coming out. I will be reading that one. I will. I'm going to try to read it as close to release as I can, because I love those first 2 books. They made me think so much. I love them. So absolutely, I'm going to continue that series. Then on October 13th, there is the second nonfiction book that I have on here, which is I'll Believe in Anything, The Making of Heated Rivalry, which is the annotated scripts and behind the scenes by Jacob Tierney. And I have pre-ordered this, like I think a lot of people have. I can't wait to get this. I think it's going to be so cool. And I also think it's funny because when people were asking for these, he was like, what, do you want annotated scripts? That's so lame. And yeah, we fucking do, Jacob. We want everything. So that's really exciting. Those are coming. Okay. Also on the 13th, there's two other things. There's The Gilded Rose by Joanna Shoup. This will be the next book in her Gilded Age series she's doing. That is like a kind of retelling series. Her first one was The Gilded Heiress, which was like an Anastasia reimagined, which I know we make Anastasia a fairy tale. Definitely wouldn't call that a fairy tale the way that it's just not, but that's what that one was. This one, though, The Gilded Rose, is supposed to be kind of a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And this one says it's a dark romance of resilience, passion, and transformative love in Gilded Age Manhattan. So really throwing some buzzwords in there, Joanna Shoup. Hopefully that works. I will definitely give that one a go. I did sign up for an ARC of this one. I haven't been approved yet, but I did read an ARC of The Gilded Heiress, and I did enjoy A Gilded Heiress. So I assume I'll like this too. I like most things by Joanna Shoup, and who doesn't love a Beauty and the Beast, right? Okay, also, there is a very good bad idea by Emma Chase. Now, I talked about this in a video earlier this year, actually a video of mine that did quite well called Where Did They Go?, which was a video about authors that had just disappeared. And Emma Chase was one that I hadn't seen a new book from her appear in quite a few years. That wasn't a like re-release of something or an audiobook being released of a book that she'd already done. And this one is a new release coming out. I actually signed up for the ARC of this one. I haven't been approved yet, but A Very Good Bad Idea is coming October 13th. And this one says that it is two rival real estate developers who inherit the same lucrative property in a small beach town. There's just one catch. They have to live in it together. So that sounds cute. That sounds fun. And yeah, this one is coming in October. So it is supposed to be a rom-com, and it's Damon and Jade being forced to live there and then like try to sell it together. I don't know the reasons for that. I don't know what's going on, but it sounds cute. And again, I haven't read a new book from Emma Chase in a really long time. So this being an author who is on my list of Where Did They Go?, I want to try it. So I put her on there. All right, then there is Queen of Lombard Street by Lisa Kleypas. All right, this is one I do also have in ARC for. I know a lot of people got approved. So this one is a romantic fiction. It is a historical romantic fiction from what I've gathered from some of the reviews, which yes, some people are reviewing it very harshly, but like this one isn't a historical romance. But it is from Lisa Kleypas, the historical romance queen. Few things about this is that I think she also was in my What Happened to Her, and I updated some people on this, that Lisa Kleypas is putting out a new book and I want to read it, knowing that it's not going to be a full-on romance. I guess this is kind of based in, you know, some of the historical research she's done. Not some, like she will have done the historical research on this, and it's going to be kind of a like crime novel. There's going to be like a financial crime that happens, and it's going to be looking into a female economist who I guess is based on a real person, and her trying to solve a financial crime that's happening in a Victorian, and it's in Victorian times. So that is very interesting to me, but I am going into it with a lot of caution because there is a lot of, you know, expectation I have of a Lisa Kleypas novel, and knowing that I'm not going to probably get those things in there is difficult. However, from some of the reviews I've seen, even though they were people being like critical that it wasn't what they wanted from it, I know that it's not a historical romance, but in some of these reviews, like I know that there is still a romance in it. And since I was prepared for there to be no romance at all, going into a book that I know is a historical fiction, but yet it will still have a romance that like has a good ending, that's a bonus. Like at least knowing that if there is any romance in there, that it will have an HEA when you're not promised that in a historical fiction, that already has me like a little more excited about it. So with all those caveats, like of course I still want to read a book coming from her. Like absolutely. And the most important thing to me is that her health was good enough that she could put out a book, and that if this is the story that she wanted to tell, I want to read it. I also have heard that there will be a cameo from a few characters we recognize, because it is set in Victorian times, and I believe it's going to be a, who was the hint? I don't want to spoil anything. But anyway, if you've read all of her other books, I think you will see kind of some crossover or mentions of some characters we've seen before is kind of the point. So, The Queen of Lombard Street is coming October 20th. This was supposed to be a quicker book, but I can't help myself. Okay, also on the 20th, there is Carved in Shadows by A.L. Jackson. This will be the next book in her Crimson Crows series. Okay, then Let's Be Real by Julia Wolf. This will be her next book in the Wells Brothers, and I believe she said that this one would be Nate's book. Yes, okay, this one's going to be Nate's book, and I believe Nate is the oldest one, because yeah, she's definitely saving Adrian for last, because he's the one we all really want to know what's up with him. But yeah, Nate's book is coming in October. And she did already move this date forward. This was originally set for like January of 2027, and she always brings those books forward. So then October 22nd is Vicious King by Natalie Kane. This will be the fourth and I believe final book in the Kings of Vegas series. So a dark mafia book. And like I said, this is one of the Kristen Proby / Natalie Kane's where I'm like kind of taking a break with the series, but I do have the other books in this series that I can like binge them when I'm finally ready to get to them. Continuing in October, there's so many. And now we reach October 27th, which is the other date that there are a lot of books coming out. There are, I think, six set for that. We have A Crimson Ridge Christmas by Elliot Rose. This will include like Buckles and Bouquets, as well as there'll be a never before read Christmas novella. Those will be in a bind up coming on the 27th. There is Undone by Peyton Corinne, which I did finally get approved for an arc of this one. I had asked for it so early and all these other people were getting approved for it, and I was like, are you kidding me? I've had arcs for every single one except the first one in this series, and I hadn't got approved for Undone, and I was just like, what? I love these books. And I finally got approved for Undone, and I gotta say it's taking a lot of restraint not to read it immediately, because after reading Unbound, which was a 6-star book, I'm so ready for Undone. The setup has been so intense. So I'm very excited for that one. Of Karma and Corridors by Sloane St. James. This will be book 2 in the Black Rabbit series. Now, I still haven't read the first one in this series, but I did buy it and I have the audiobook. I really love the hockey series from Sloane St. James. So I'm putting this one on here just to let you guys know it's coming out. The Keeper by Anna Wong, which is number 3. And I believe this is only supposed to be a trilogy from what she shared. So this will be the final book in the Gods of the Game, her football/soccer series. And then, not to bury the lead, but last but not least to come out on October 27th is A Court of Thorns and Roses, number 6, which we still do not have a name for. There's a lot of speculation on why we haven't received a title for this, when we are now, you know, under, well, we're still about 3 months out from it, right? Because we have almost all of August, September, and most of October until it comes out. But they will have to, like, start printing the books soon, you'd think, like soon-ish. They'll have to start printing them. And we do already know how many pages long it is. Like, it's shared on the Barnes & Noble how many pages it is. And you'd think that we'll have a title in those books. So how long are they going to be able to keep it a secret, right? I'm of the opinion that I actually love that it hasn't been shared yet. And I know I know that some people could see it as like you're fucking with people, not telling them. However, for how many people give Sarah J. Maas so much shit about how she writes her books and how they do that, we know that a lot of us who are fans, or people who are not fans but still read her books and then bitch about them, and then it's like, well, why are you reading them? I just kind of love that we don't know what the name is, because I don't care what it's called. It can be A Court of blah, blah, blah. It can, and I'm going to read it. I don't care what it's called. Like, I really don't. I'm a big fan and I'm going to read it. And I don't care that I don't know the name. I've already pre-ordered it as an audiobook and a physical copy. I've already pre-ordered it. And I don't care. Like, I don't care. I love her stories and I can't wait. And I don't think it's rude not to say, because I think it will give stuff away to know the names of it. I think sharing the blurb will give stuff away. And like, I don't want to know. I don't need to know. And I think as soon as you know, it gives all this fodder to all these people that make videos off of guessing, that make, you know, content off of knowing and like all that stuff. And I kind of like that she's fucking with people by not telling them the title. Because again, what will it change by knowing the title? What will it change? You're still going to read it when it comes out if you know the title. Like, I kind of love it. At first, I just thought, I was like, what's this special day we're waiting for? Why don't we know it yet? And then the longer it goes on, I kind of love that it hasn't been shared. And in a way, I also wonder, I'm like, is she trying to find out who a leak is within the company? Is she trying to find, you know, because it's like, if it does a leak out before she wants to share it, can they find out who a leak is or something like that? Like, I don't know. I don't mean to be a conspiracy theorist about it, but at this point, I kind of love that it hasn't gotten out what the name is, because there are obviously some people who have to know, just for the fact that, like, we are getting close enough now that it obviously has a title in place. Like, we know what it is. So I think there are a couple different reasons it isn't known. Anyway, I'm turning this into a conspiracy video every little bit. But I do at this point think it's kind of funny that it isn't known. And I kind of am like, what if the book just is called A Court of Thorns and Roses 6? That would be kind of funny. But anyway, I'm into it. And at first I just was like really like wanting to know too. And now I'm just like, every day that it's not known what the title is, I want it to get closer and closer to the date it comes out without us knowing what it is. And there are literally the bookstores planning the release parties, and it's just called A Court of Thorns and Roses 6 release party. And I kind of love it. But I know some people are getting really pissed, and I'm also like, why? Like, why? It doesn't matter. You're going to read it, and you're going to be happy about it, or you're going to be pissed about it. And the people who are going to be pissed will be pissed, and the people who are excited are going to be excited, and never the twain shall meet, kind of thing. But anyway, keep it going. All right. Still in October is Midnight Mooring, which will be a part of the Scottish Isle series by Samantha Young. And then, oh, I think was there one more? Not? Nope, that's it for October. And then we get into November. And again, because November is a ways out, I have the least amount listed for November, but I'm sure that will change. I'm sure we'll get more that get announced for November. But what we have for November thus far is Born for Fur by Nikki Harris. This will be the 4th book in her Cradled Common series. Her Angel by Amelia Rossi. This is why I double check right before I make these, because I forgot that this one was coming in November. So yeah, Her Angel is coming, and that'll be the 4th book in the series. Forsaking All Others by Gianna Darling. This is one of her releases, I believe, with Montlake, possibly. And this will be a marriage of convenience mafia romance. Then this Wretched Alchemy by Tina Mars. This will be book 1 in the Ruinous Fate saga and is an influencer release. I do have an arc of this one, and I'm cautiously intrigued. I like the idea. I believe this has a like older-ish heroine, also a heroine of color. So yeah, I'm intrigued by this one. Okay, Now and Forever by Willow Astor. This will be the final book in the Windy Harbor series, and this is the single dad. I believe this is the oldest brother. We're finally getting his romance, and that will finish off that series. Then we will get Beneath a Midnight Moon by Catherine Cowles. This will be book 3 in Starlight Grove. And this one, I believe, is the Marriage of Convenience, because if you read the end of Under the Fading, or Into the Fading Twilight, there was a marriage in the epilogue of that one. Sinners of Cyanide, which will be book 4 in the Broods of Bristlebrook, which is funny because it says it's listed as book 4 in the Broods of Bristlebrook trilogy. But this is actually going to be the POV of a different couple. So not involving the like polyamorous thing that was going on. This was kind of a surprise announcement. But this one says it's going to be the MF between, it's going to be an MF and an MM between Heather and Alistair, and then Bentley and Mateo. So there's going to be like 2 different relationships in this one. And this one's listed for November. And then, yeah, that is it. So there we go. I did squeak it in just under an hour there for you. So those are all of the books upcoming in the fall quarter, or the fall season. So yeah, I will list all of those down below if you'd like to pre-order, the ones that are available for pre-order. Go ahead and check those out. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you hype this video, like this video, share which books you are most looking forward to in the next 3 months. If I mentioned any of yours, let me know your thoughts on if Sarah J. Maas should be sharing the title of the book or not. I definitely would love to know your thoughts. I don't have enough to say about that to like make it its own video, because I just didn't really want to do a tea video about it. But it, like I said, it did kind of make me laugh how upset some people are about it, when I really think they're just upset that they can't make theory videos about it, because until they know the title or have the cover, they can't pick it apart and guess who it's about and start having theories. And so that cuts into their content that they can make, which I shouldn't be so cynical about it. I mean, I understand needing to make content about things, but it also makes me laugh because I'm like, she doesn't owe you telling her about it, and you know that you're gonna read it no matter what. So don't act like you won't just because she hasn't shared the title yet. Because if she didn't tell you it was coming out and dropped it tomorrow, you would still read it. So what's the difference in knowing that it's coming and you can ask the day off of work and you can be prepared for it, and not knowing? So there you go. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, friends. Love you so much. I'll see you next time.